While market development needs to happen for the crops to really take off in Iowa, farmers are coming up with ways to economically use small grains on their farms today. For farmers who use cover crops on their corn and soybeans to prevent soil erosion, protect water quality, and help with weed management, growing small grain seed for your own use or the use of your neighbors can be a good way to get started on just a few acres.
So as far as small grains go, as far as markets for them or uses for them, really our main use is just saving for our own use as far as replanting that particular crop, especially when you're talking about cover crop. If you're not going to graze it, if you're not going to save it for seed, it's hard to buy expensive seed if you're not going to get any quote-unquote use out of it. I mean, obviously you're going to gain some soil benefits, but again, that's relatively hard to quantify. So really our main purpose for growing and harvesting small grains is to save for our own use, for planting as a cover crop, for feeding to livestock. We do have a horse, so the oats might be pretty good for her. And we have sold some of our small grains right off the combine to neighbors. And really that I can see as being ideal. If you have neighbors that are looking for seed and you can sell that right off the combine and just even recoup your costs, that's the bee's knees, which is why it's pretty exciting if neighbors can get together and say, all right, I'm really interested in planting oats or cereal rye, but I really don't want to pay what this company in Nebraska or Minnesota is selling it for. I've got to pay the shipping to get it here. I'm not sure it's going to grow. It'd be great if you have somebody who has grown small grains before, again, can sell that grain right off the combine, and sell it to them at cost, or maybe a little above cost, and have that available to your neighbors. I think that inner neighbor market could be promising.
While growing small grains for cover crop seed is becoming more common, integrating small grains in some way to a livestock operation is probably the way that the majority of Iowa farmers who grow small grains make use of their production.
Wheat prices this year are low, just like all the rest of the commodity prices, but with some value-added opportunities in small grains, if you're using them maybe to replace some cover crop seed, or you're able to incorporate them as part of a livestock feed ration with a higher protein that we have in spring wheat. In spring wheat opposed to corn, we're able to utilize that protein on our farm. And also give us some opportunity again to market some straw as another component to an economic return, and then allow us to plant a cover crop mix like this one. So timing wise, it's a shorter season crop, allowed us to do some things with cover crops that we aren't able to do after a corn and soybean crop.
What I like about small grains for any livestock operation is that it's tough to sell small grains, conventional or organic. There just isn't that big of a market like there used to be. There still is, We've got a local elevator that will buy conventional oats. If we can't sell it on the organic market, or if we've got extra oats left over we want to get rid of, we can take it to a local elevator and they'll put it in their own feed. So they got that option too. But it's a good way to utilize grains that don't have the uses they once did, where every farmer had oats and fed oats and small grains. We just don't have that market today like we once did.